So these are the cupcakes that went viral. Did they make me rich? No. Did they make me famous? No. I mean, the cupcakes were sort of internet famous, but that's not the same as famous, is it? So what's the story? In 2012, I was part of a project called Eat Your Heart Out. Now, in 2012, it was going to be based over Halloween. And the premise of the project was body parts and diseases that affect the body, but in cake form. So it's kind of educating people, but through cake. Some of the examples that some of my other cakers did were STD cakes was one of them. There was somebody who did like the skull, like a lifelike skull, edible skull. There was someone who did stool sample. I think there were cupcakes, or there might have been sort of stool samples in a box, and it did look like stools, but obviously they weren't real stools. It was made out of whatever it was made out of. I think there was a urine one as well. I don't know what that was made out of. Probably some kind of lemonade or anything. So it was due to take part over Halloween, and it was going to be a 3-day event that took place at St Bartholomew's Pathology Museum. So I thought, well, what can I make? I want something that's fairly sort of simple, but that I could make a lot of, potentially, because if there was a sellout, it would be good that the item that I had could be done very quickly. Again, if there was a sellout, I wasn't going to do any diseases, because some of those disease like cakes and stuff were so realistic, made me want to throw up. So I thought, well, let me do something to do with the body. And I thought blood. And I was like, okay, but not just like squirting blood. I thought, let's get deep and show the actual blood cells, magnified how many times. And I thought, okay, that's what I'll do, because it'll be a case of, like I said before, if I need to make more, it'll be quite easy to do. So I decided that the form was going to be in a cupcake form. So the base was going to be cupcake, and the blood cells were going to go on top. The cupcake itself was vanilla sponge mix, but it was dyed red. So it wasn't red velvet, it was vanilla dyed red. And on top, you'd have the red blood cells, and they were made out of sugar paste, and they were cut small circles, but then blood cells have a kind of concaveness to it. I don't know if concaveness is a word, but it has a kind of concaveness. And so you had to make sure they were concave. And then I kind of made up a syrup to cover the blood cells to make them look more bloody. I'll show you the picture again here. This is how they turned out. Those vials are not filled with real blood. A lot of people thought that, and they thought, oh my God, is she using real blood in the cupcakes? No, they were just for like sort of press and for, to advertise the event. I've also got a PDF, so if you want to make these, you can make them. I've put a link in the description to the PDF. It's free. They're very easy to make, and I think they're really good, for Halloween, but also if there's somebody who's into like science and stuff and you want to make some birthday cakes, these would be really, really good for that. So that was my contribution towards the event, the red blood cell cupcakes. How did the event turn out? Well, the day before the actual event, there was a kind of like a press launch. Now, I've never been to one of these things before. So, and some of my other cakers who are a lot better than me and a lot more experienced have been to these things before. So they had lots of press down, taking pictures, taking samples away. And I was like, okay, fine. And the next day was the official opening of the event, which was open to the public, because like I said, all these cakes were for sale. And it was the queue was just, it was crazy, the queue. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I'm thinking, everything's probably going to sell out really quickly. And as it turned out, the first day, like my cakes they all just went. And so after the first day, went home and I made a whole load more. to bring for the second and third day, but it was such a big resounding success. It grows people out as well as it educating people, and it was just really good. And in terms of my red blood cell cupcakes, people were particularly it was like either really grossed out, or they thought, oh my gosh, that's just, it's so amazing because that's what they look like. And we've all got blood in us, haven't we? I suppose we don't really think about it too much because it's just flowing around our body. But it was a really good event. I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of hard work, but it came together really well, and it was a big success. So this is one of the newspapers. This is the Daily Mail Online. There's my cupcakes there, and there you can see that's the urine sample as well next to it. This is the Guardian. This is a cake that is all cake, that skull. This is amazing. But if you scroll down, I'm just going to highlight it here. It talks about my scraping off the red cells from the cupcake. Here's Yahoo News. There's my cupcakes there with a stitched heart next to it, done by one of my other bakers. And on social media terms, this was shared on a science website, and sort of probably the day after the event, and then a couple of years later it was shared again, and it was a bit crazy. There was like 20,000 odd likes, over 1,000 shares, so that was pretty crazy. So the aftermath, I think the thing is, when people talk about going viral, especially today, it's normally something that kind of happens in the community, and then the wider media pick it up, and that's what causes things to go viral. And I think sometimes with some people, they think going viral is going to really change your life, and in some instances it does. It can do. But for me, did it change my life? No. No. Like I said, my cupcakes were internet famous for a while, and every so often they pop up. Somebody finds them, they pop up, and they get shared and everything. But yeah, it didn't change my life. And I think I just want to say that because something goes viral, it doesn't mean that your whole life is going to change. It can do, but it's not always the case, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I think, as you may or may not know, I'm on TikTok, and what I find with TikTok is that even though TikTok initially was aimed at younger people, there's a lot of older people on there now, and people seem to be so obsessed with going viral. Like, they have a video that may get 500,000 views or likes, and they're just so hell-bent on trying to get all their videos to go viral. But a lot of the cases it doesn't, and people get so upset about that. I think it's this whole thing about validation from strangers, which is so prominent now in the social media world that we're in. And I think you have to be careful, because if it could potentially really affect your mental health if you're hell bent on you want everything that you do to go viral. That's not what happens. That's not what life is. And that what you also find on TikTok is that people's videos who have gone viral, and then they want to try and go viral again, what you find is they'll re-release their viral video again. Oh, this went viral. And it's just like, I think you just got to be really careful. Nothing wrong with going viral. It's a nice thing, but don't get so het up on it and so looking for validation from loads of strangers. You need to live your life. So that's my story time about my time when I went viral. I'm going to have some more story time stuff here for you to enjoy. Until next time, cake lovers.